Hi, all, and welcome to episode 42 of Plain Speaking Sanjiv. Today, I want to speak about financial and management metrics, how data and performance is reported in quarterly reports, in investor presentations, shareholder meetings, board meetings, etc. There are three things that are essential to understand performance in a quarter. Number one, you need to understand how you did relative to your budget. I think most airlines internally get that right. They compare to budget and they see whether you exceeded or did better than budget, worse than budget, how much better, how much worse, etc. And that's the first thing that needs to be done. The second thing that needs to be done is you need to compare to the same quarter or period the previous year. It's very important to compare to the same quarter or period the previous year because of seasonality. If you compare the June quarter to the March quarter, it doesn't really make sense. It's not apples to apples because the June quarter is high season and the March quarter is low season. So obviously everything will be better in the June quarter than it was in March. But if you compare the June quarter of this year to what it was last year, you get to know on a seasonally neutral basis how the airline has been performing. So this is 2 out of 3 compared to budget, compared to the same quarter year on year or same period year on year. The third thing that many entities, airlines, etc. miss out, which is extremely important, is you need to compare not only relative to your own budget, but you need to compare your performance relative to other players in the industry. Because there are many external factors that impact how a company performs, how an airline performs, and the budget assumes that all else is equal. All else being held constant, how is the airline doing? But all else is not constant. Fuel prices change, capacity comes in and goes out, external shocks happen. So your performance relative to how others have performed in the same period of time is an extremely important measure that I think should be fundamental to all reports. I have come across many cases in my 20 years of board presentations and shareholder presentations that only look internally relative to budget and penalize the reward compared to what you did as per the budget. But there's no point in rewarding somebody for exceeding targets in the budget if fuel prices collapsed. You need to see, did your performance improve more than your competitors? And if it did improve more than your competitors, then you deserve the credit. Conversely, if fuel prices shot up, there's no point in penalizing management for not meeting the cost budget. But you can, make a judgment basis how much did your fuel cost go up compared to others on a unit basis. If you did not as bad as others, then you should get credited for that. So again, comparison to the market, comparison to other players is extremely important and is often missing. Finally, I think one needs to understand that a data and point in time is not very meaningful. You need to look at trends over time. So not just quarter on quarter, year on year, the same quarter, but look at it, what has been happening for the last 3 years or 4 years. Is the overall moving average moving in the right direction? Is it moving in the wrong direction? Are things getting better? Are things getting worse? Both on a standalone basis and relative to other players. So if you can do this, then you get a fuller picture or a clear picture of what is going on in the industry. I've come across many situations where boards have decided to pull the plug on this or pull the plug on that because of looking at something which is a snapshot in time on a standalone basis rather than looking at trends. And if only the boards looked at trends, they would say, all right, things are moving in the right direction. May not have met budget, but the airline is doing better than other airlines. The lines are converging, the costs are coming down, the revenues are going up, and overall things are on track, rather than just looking at the fact, oh my God, you haven't met your budget, therefore let's do something drastic. So again, very basic fundamental stuff, and it would be great if all reports could include all of these factors so that you can see the full picture. Now, before I conclude, I just want to comment on the episode I had yesterday, which was on airline pricing. I got some comments and feedback. It seemed to resonate with a lot of people. But there are a couple of points that I did not make yesterday that I should make to help explain or help people understand pricing better. One thing to understand is one should look at early purchase discounts. If you book 30 days, 60 days, 90 days in advance, where you get great fares, you should look at that as a reward for booking early. In fact, in the past, we've run campaigns such as, book early, save lots, etc. Because by booking early, you help airlines not only get rid of excess capacity, but you also help them manage the inventory better because they get a good sense of what is happening, what the trends are, etc. They get early indicators. So booking early is a reward for giving the airlines more notice on what is going to be happening and helping them sell excess capacity. The second thing which I did not touch upon at all is the fact that a common complaint in the industry from customers is that the change in cancel fees are very high in the industry, and they don't understand why if you paid 2,000 rupees for a ticket, the cancel fee is 3,000. But number one, the 2,000 rupee fare that you paid was a very highly discounted fare, and you got that fare in exchange for agreeing to not make any changes, because these changes actually cost the airline money. The GDS system did not charge money, and it is to basically say that, look, if you are a low cost customer to us and keep our costs down, we will give you this fare. But if you then start making changes, etc., we need to start retrieving some of that cost, back for us, because you now no longer become a low cost customer for us. But having said that, almost every airline these days is offering some variant of branded fares, where you can book whatever low fare you want, but if you pay 1,000 rupees more or 1,500 rupees more, you can buy flexibility. And I think this is a huge a benefit that most customers don't realize. You just pick a fare which is inflexible, pay the 1,500 rupees more to add the flexibility, and then you can get free changes and cancellations for just 1,500 rupees, which is far better than paying 3,500 rupees. So again, I would suggest to everybody, if you want the lowest fare, yet you want some flexibility, just add that cancellation flexibility to your fare. It's even available through OTAs, they sell you that flexibility. So just look and buy a flexi fare, the lowest flexi fare you can. So it's not as if the airlines are not giving a choice. It is just that people tend to just pick the lowest fare without looking at what the restrictions are, when there are other options available which are not very expensive. Now this is different from 2 or 3 years ago, where the flexi fare would be 3 times the fare. Obviously that doesn't make sense at all. But nowadays, through branded fare families, you can get a flexi fare which is only 1,000 or 1,500 rupees more, and it is well worth it. So good. So today I've covered 2 topics: management and financial reporting and how to look at them, and a couple of aspects on pricing and how to look for flexibility, at a reasonable cost. Hope that was helpful. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.